Right now at 5:30, a man has died overnight after police say a vehicle struck him as he was walking on Interstate 75. We'll have more coming up in a live report.
Just a horrible, horrible situation for these young girls.
Also on WKYT this morning, a teenager in a Franklin County jail after being charged with human trafficking. And authorities say he used social media to target young girls.
More rain in the forecast for today. We have a flash flood watch in effect through tomorrow. I'll take you through your latest forecast and show you what you can expect out of this. Coming up next.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning, and it's so nice to have you on WKYT on this Monday. It's July 20th, and we hope you had a great weekend. I'm Bill Bryant.
And I'm Rebecca Smith. You may still be rested from your weekend, but the weather is just not really, calming down for us.
Right. Once again, a WKYT First Alert Severe Weather Day as we watch for the potential for flash flooding this afternoon. Mike, at this point, any amount of rain amounts up to a problem.
That's exactly right. Look, we're going to be talking flash flooding every single day until we get the rain on out of here. So it should not be a surprise to you to have a flash flood watch or a flash flood warning. We do have a flash flood warning southern portions of Rockcastle County and northern portions of Laurel until 5:45. System back toward our west. This is moving southeast. That won't really affect us that much, but there's still more to the west of that we're going to be watching later on today. And it's going to be later on today that we actually see those showers and storms roll through our region. That'll give us that chance at that flash flooding and also an isolated damaging wind threat too. Now I'll show you when you can expect that and how that will affect your afternoon coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, lots to keep our eyes on, and we'll do it. Thank you.
New this morning, the Fayette County Coroner's Office tells us a Georgetown man is dead after being hit by a vehicle overnight.
Lexington police tell us it happened late last night along Interstate 75. The southbound lanes were closed for hours near the Fayette and Scott County lines. They have just reopened. WKYT's Mark Barber is live near the interstate. Mark, what is the latest on this?
Good morning, Bill. That's exactly right. The interstate is back open, but it took hours, about 5 hours in all, for investigators to clear the gruesome scene here at the Fayette-Scott County line, where a man was hit by a car and two semis. Now, the coroner is not identifying the man who died here yet. All we are being told is that the man was from Georgetown and was in his mid-30s. Police say that the terrible accident happened just after 11 o'clock last night when the man started walking along I-75 after his car broke down. Officers say the first car hit him near mile 119. Then two semis crashed into the body. We're told those drivers probably thought they hit a deer. Police tell us the driver who crashed into the man first did pull over and called for help.
She's been very cooperative with us, and she is cooperating with the investigators right now as we speak and is giving us all her information.
Now, officers don't think any charges will be filed in the case because they say the man was actually walking in the road, and they say the area here is not well lit. Live in Lexington, Mark Barber, WKYT.
Well, folks in flood-ravaged eastern Kentucky will soon be getting some much-needed help.
FEMA took a tour of the devastation in Johnson County over the weekend to assess the damage there. On Saturday, representatives came to the area to figure out the extent of the damage. The organization will determine exactly how much federal aid the area may need.
Even amongst the destruction, we're seeing incredible stories of survival coming out of eastern Kentucky. One family is calling a relative a hero. Sean Stewart was with his stepfather and father-in-law in their gun shop when the water came rushing in. Stewart says he got his stepson to safety and searched for his father-in-law. His father-in-law pulled himself to safety. After that whole scare, that man's son only had minor lacerations on his arm and had 16 stitches in the hospital.
A group of veterans and volunteers have been working hard to help the flood victims. Team Rubicon is a veteran-led disaster relief organization. They're conducting damage assessments, they're helping with debris removal and coordinating volunteers. Two Marine veterans founded the nonprofit Team Rubicon back in 2010 to provide assistance during the Haiti earthquake.
A small church in central Kentucky wants to help out flood victims in Johnson County. Leaders at Harbor Light Worship Center in Stanton saw what happened in eastern Kentucky. The images, they say, broke their hearts, and they decided to collect donations and raise money for victims. So far, the group says they have collected nearly $2,000. Johnson Central High School is the distribution point for all donations coming in to Paintsville. New this morning, a Lexington mother's in jail charged with endangerment.
Police say 43-year-old Tracy Carrick picked up her children from daycare while intoxicated. WKYT's Hillary Thornton is live from District Court with the latest on that. Hillary, how old are we talking about in terms of Carrick's children?
Good morning, Bill and Rebecca. Police say the mom was drunk when picking up her 7- and 9-year-old daughters from that Lexington daycare. Officers say a worker at the daycare tried to stop Carrick from driving, but when she would not stop, that worker followed the mom and called police. Officers say when they caught up to Carrick's vehicle, she was speeding while driving through very heavy rain. Then when pulled over, the officers found Carrick's children in the back seat and say the mom was disoriented with glassy, bloodshot eyes. Carrick failed a field sobriety test, and police say the mom told them she had 2 glasses of wine. They say she then told them she did nothing wrong other than have a few drinks. Carrick is now facing several charges, including DUI and wanton endangerment. She will be arraigned on those charges later today here in Fayette County District Court. Live in Lexington, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
All right, Hillary, thank you very much. 5:35 on WKYT this morning, and happening later today, federal investigators will be in Boyle County after a weekend plane crash. The National Transportation Safety Board and the Federal Aviation Administration will try to determine what caused the single-engine plane to crash in Junction City. The pilot who walked away from the crash says he ran into engine trouble Saturday, forcing a crash landing. Authorities are not sure if the pilot was leaving or approaching the KDVK Airport in Junction City when he crashed.
Well, later today, Franklin County investigators hope to find out more information surrounding a human trafficking case. 19-year-old Jonathan Diaz is accused of using social media to target young girls. Franklin County Sheriff Pat Melton says investigators will check Diaz's phone later today for more information. Officers tell us they caught him by going undercover. They arrested him at a motel and rescued a 15-year-old girl. Police tell us they do not think this is the first time Diaz has tried to traffic young girls. The sheriff says the best way to prevent this is to monitor your children's time on the internet.
Check your children's Facebook page, Instagram. Check those things out and see who they're talking to and what they're doing. He's preying on them. And, you know, our #1 goal was to get these girls and make sure they were safe.
Sheriff Melton is asking any other victims to come forward so they can charge Diaz with more crimes.
Lexington police are trying to figure out who shot a man over the weekend. Someone heard the man screaming on Burnett Avenue Sunday morning. When police got there, they say the victim had a gunshot wound in his stomach. He was talking, but police say he had some trouble breathing. A neighbor found the man in his front yard and helped him before police could get there.
I was asleep really. It was about maybe 5:30 or 6 o'clock in the morning. And I woke up when I heard somebody screaming and yelling for help. And called the ambulance and police come in and paramedics and take it. He said, "I'll hold my hand and this," and then he's sweating and shaking.
At last check, Lexington police are not sure of the victim's condition.
6 people are recovering after a weekend shooting at a Louisville nightclub. Police say someone fired shots at Cole's Place on West Kentucky Street Sunday morning. Witnesses told them a man dressed in white opened fire on the crowd. One of the victims was a pregnant woman who delivered the baby right after the shooting. Amazingly, both are expected to be all right. The owner of the club says the shooter jumped the fence and began firing into the club's courtyard. The pastor of the church next door says there's rarely trouble there.
Yeah, he's got tight security, but then again, you know, things do slip. They get through the crack.
Police say Cole's Place was holding a concert at the time of the shooting. They have not made any arrests.
Organizers tell us they're hoping to have a popular Lexington basketball tournament back at its usual spot next year. The Dirt Bowl wrapped up this weekend at the Dunbar Center inside instead of at Douglas Park. The annual event moved locations after someone shot 5 people in the park last month. One man later died from his injuries, and violence raised some concerns about park safety.
It's really like a big family reunion. People come back that haven't been here for a while, you know, come to watch the games. The only thing different is we're actually indoors and we don't expect the type of crowd that we would have had at the park.
And apparently that was the case, smaller crowds. Police say they can offer more security, though, inside a gym compared to outdoors in a park.
Well, in international news this morning, icy ties with Cuba is set to thaw a little bit later today. For the first time since severing ties in 1961, the countries will reopen embassies in each other's capitals. Cuban Foreign Minister Bruno Rodriguez Perea will raise Cuba's flag in Washington, an event that Cuban government officials will broadcast live on the island's state-run TV.
New this morning, former President George H.W. Bush has been released from a hospital in Maine. The 91-year-old broke a bone in his neck after falling last week at his summer home there. He will be wearing a neck brace for a while. However, doctors treating him anticipated he will eventually make a full recovery. The 41st President of the United States suffers from a form of Parkinson's disease that leaves him unable to walk. He uses a wheelchair or a scooter to get around. It's good to see he's at least gone home now.
Yeah.
Time this morning is 5:40 on WKYT. And let's check live drive traffic, see what's going on out there bright and early this morning.
Yes, so we're not seeing too much action on the Waze map. We told you about an accident earlier on Interstate 75 that's been cleared, so your commute into Lexington should be okay.
All right, everybody buckle up and make it a safe ride in this morning. A lot more news coming up on WKYT on your Monday morning.
Many little girls dream of their wedding day, but this New York 4-year-old got to have a wedding of sorts sooner than most. We'll tell you how and why coming up in 5 minutes.
That's a cute story we need to see. First, hello Defender Live Radar. There's some rain out and about early this morning. Also, those storms later on this afternoon. Now, I'll show you when you can expect those coming up next.